The rain had been falling steadily over the small town of Ashford, New Hampshire, turning the streets into a blur of gray and silver reflections. Sarah Montgomery stood on the porch of her modest home, watching the droplets slide down the old wooden railing, her mind weighed down by the constant hum of doubt and regret. At 38, she had built walls around her heart, convinced that life had passed her by in a haze of missed opportunities and unfulfilled dreams. She had always loved deeply, yet her love had been met with disappointment, betrayal, and a loneliness that gnawed at her every night. On this rainy evening, she had no idea that a chance encounter at the town's small community center was about to shift her life in ways she never thought possible. Before we continue, if you believe in kindness and second chances, take a moment to like this video, comment your thoughts, share it with someone who needs to hear this story, and don't forget to subscribe for more heartfelt tales. It started with a volunteer program for underprivileged children, one of those initiatives that Sarah had reluctantly joined after a suggestion from her sister. She wasn't particularly hopeful. After years of focusing on her work as a nurse and caring for her elderly mother, she hadn't imagined that she'd meet anyone who could truly stir her heart again. But as she walked into the warm, brightly lit community center that evening, she saw him. Matthew Hayes, a kind-faced man in his early 30s, with soft brown eyes and a smile that seemed to carry its own light, was organizing a group of kids into art activities. He had an energy about him. Gentle, confident, and yet unmistakably sincere. Sarah found herself drawn to him instantly, though she tried to shake the thought away, telling herself she was too old for this kind of emotional risk. When he noticed her standing by the doorway, he offered a smile that melted a part of the fear she had carried for so long. The weeks that followed were a quiet dance of shared moments and fleeting conversations. Sarah volunteered diligently, helping the children paint, read, and laugh, always under Matthew's watchful yet non-intrusive presence. He never forced conversation, yet he always found reasons to talk to her, to ask about her day, to listen when she spoke. Slowly, Sarah realized that her defenses were crumbling. She laughed more freely, felt lighter, and even began to imagine what it might feel like to be seen again, truly seen. One evening, after the center had closed and the rain had stopped, the two of them found themselves lingering outside. The streetlights cast a golden glow on the wet pavement, and the silence between them was both comforting and tense. Sarah's heart pounded as she struggled to find the courage to voice what had been sitting heavy in her chest. Finally, she broke the silence, her voice almost trembling. She told him, hesitantly, that she was older than he was, that perhaps it didn't make sense to feel this way, that she didn't want to complicate his life. She expected the warmth in his eyes to dim, expected the polite distance that had always kept her safe. Instead, Matthew stepped closer, his gaze unwavering, and simply said, "My heart doesn't count years." The words were so sincere, so full of gentle conviction, that Sarah felt as though the walls she had built around herself for decades were dissolving in an instant. The age difference, the doubts, the past heartaches, they all seemed to pale in comparison to the honesty in his heart. What followed was not an instant, fairy tale love, but a slow, tender unfolding of trust. Sarah learned that Matthew had his own scars. He had lost someone dear in his early 20s and had been hesitant to open himself fully to love again. They shared stories over coffee, walked through the quiet streets of Ashford in the soft morning mist, and sometimes sat in comfortable silence, letting the world rush past while they found solace in each other's presence. Yet, life is rarely without its tests. Sarah's friends and even her own inner voice whispered doubts about the age difference, about the possibility of judgment, about whether Matthew's feelings were fleeting or truly deep. Matthew, too, faced scrutiny from his own circle, the unspoken questions about why he would be drawn to someone older, someone with so much life experience already behind her. Both of them wrestled with fear, with the vulnerability of laying their hearts bare, knowing that love, though beautiful, also demanded courage. The turning point came one crisp autumn evening when Sarah's mother fell ill. She had been caring for her tirelessly, and now she needed help beyond what Sarah could provide alone. Matthew didn't hesitate. He came over, stayed by her mother's side, helped her navigate hospital forms, sat with her when fear overtook her, and never once made Sarah feel like she was burdened. In that moment, Sarah realized that love was not about age, nor about convenience. It was about commitment, about showing up for someone when the world seemed heavy and cruel. Her heart swelled with gratitude, relief, and a deeper love than she had imagined possible. Their bond deepened with every shared sunrise, every quiet conversation, and every act of kindness that passed unnoticed by the world but etched itself into the fabric of their lives. Sarah found herself thinking less about what she had lost in the past and more about what she had gained, a partner who saw her soul rather than her years, who embraced her imperfections, and who loved her with a quiet yet unwavering certainty. Matthew, in turn, found in Sarah a wisdom, warmth, and resilience that inspired him daily, showing him that love was not bound by numbers, but by hearts willing to meet each other with trust and care. As winter descended upon Ashford, painting the town in snow and quiet wonder, Sarah and Matthew stood together outside the community center, watching the children's laughter echo across the frosty air. Sarah realized that she had spent far too long measuring life in years, in what had gone wrong, in missed chances. Now, she measured it in moments, moments of courage, connection, and genuine love. She had learned that sometimes, the heart sees what the eyes cannot, and that a lifetime of waiting can sometimes be shortened by a single act of bravery, letting yourself love again. If this story touched your heart, please take a moment to engage with it. Like the video, share it with someone you care about, and subscribe to our channel for more stories that remind us of the beauty and power of human kindness. And before you go, leave a comment telling us what part of Sarah and Matthew's journey resonated with you the most. Your thoughts mean the world. By the time the first snowflakes of December began to fall, Sarah no longer worried about age, time, or judgment. She held Matthew's hand as they walked through the quiet streets, feeling the warmth of a love that defied logic but made perfect sense in every beat of their hearts. And in that love, she found freedom, freedom from the past, freedom to dream, and freedom to embrace a future she had once believed was beyond her reach. Sometimes, life surprises you when you least expect it, and sometimes, it reminds you that the heart counts far more than the years it has lived. And for Sarah and Matthew, that truth became the most beautiful story they would ever know.